In March of 2026, the Social Security Administration quietly changed a rule that affects every single person receiving a Social Security check in America. And most people have no idea it happened. Here's what changed. If the SSA decides it overpaid you, even if the mistake was theirs, they can now withhold 50% of your monthly benefit until the debt is paid. That means if your check is $2,000, you could wake up one morning and find only $1,000 deposited. No phone call, no negotiation, just half your money, gone. This isn't theoretical. The SSA identified $23 billion in overpayments over the past 4 years. Millions of letters are going out right now to seniors across the country, retirees, disability recipients, survivors, telling them they owe thousands of dollars they never knew about. And here's what makes this a legal crisis. Most seniors who get these letters don't know they have 90 days to fight back. They don't know there are 2 federal forms that can freeze the withholding completely. They don't know the SSA is legally required to stop collecting if you file within 30 days. They just see the letter, panic, and accept it. This video is the legal breakdown. How the clawback works, why the rate jumped from 10% to 50%, the 2 forms that can freeze your check at full amount, the exact timeline you cannot miss, and word for word what to write on your appeal. Welcome to USA Senior Laws Guide. This channel breaks down laws, regulations, and government rules that affect seniors, in plain language with exact form numbers, deadlines, and steps. I'm not a lawyer. This is educational information only. For your specific situation, consult a licensed attorney. But the information in this video comes directly from the Social Security Administration, the Code of Federal Regulations, and the SSA's own Office of the Inspector General. If you're over 60 or you have a parent over 60, subscribe right now, because the government doesn't send you a video explaining your rights. I do. Let's get into it. The legal authority for Social Security overpayment recovery comes from Section 204 of the Social Security Act. It's codified in Title 42 of the United States Code, Section 404. In plain English, if the SSA pays you more than you were legally entitled to receive, federal law requires them to get it back. There is no statute of limitations on Social Security overpayments. The SSA can come after you for an overpayment that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even 20 years ago. There have been documented cases of seniors in their 80s receiving overpayment notices for errors made in their 50s. And here's the legal detail that shocks people. The burden of proof is on you. When the SSA says you were overpaid, they don't have to prove it in court first. They issue a notice, and unless you formally dispute it within the timeline, they begin withholding. It's administrative action, not a lawsuit. You don't get a judge. You don't get a hearing automatically. You get a letter and a countdown clock. The withholding rate history matters because it shows you how fast these rules can change. Prior to March 2024, the default rate was 100%. The SSA would take your entire check. People living on Social Security as their only income were receiving $0 deposits. Some went months without any Social Security income. Seniors couldn't pay for housing, medication, or food. There were documented cases of people being evicted and hospitalized because of the financial shock. March 2024. After massive public pressure and congressional intervention, the SSA reduced the default to 10%. If your check was $2,000, they'd only take $200. You could survive. March 2025. The new SSA leadership announced a return to 100% withholding, full clawback. The rationale was that the 10% rate was too generous and wasn't recovering funds fast enough. April 25, 2025. After bipartisan backlash from senators and AARP calling the policy unconscionable, the SSA issued an emergency directive. New default, 50%, not 10, not 100. 50. That's the law today. If you receive an overpayment notice in 2026 and do nothing for 90 days, half your Social Security check disappears until the debt is repaid. Now, your legal rights. You have two primary legal tools. Legal tool number 1, formal appeal. Form SSA-561, request for reconsideration. You use this when you disagree that you were overpaid, or you disagree with the amount. This is not a polite request. This is a formal administrative appeal under the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 20, Section 404.907. When you file SSA-561 within 30 days of the date on your overpayment notice, federal regulation requires the SSA to suspend all recovery action. That means zero withholding while they review your case. Not 50%, zero. Your full check continues as normal until the SSA issues a formal decision on your appeal. The review typically takes 60 to 90 days, sometimes longer. During that entire time, full benefits. If the SSA denies your appeal, you then have 60 days to request a hearing before an administrative law judge. That's a real hearing. You present evidence, the SSA presents their case, and the judge decides. If you're denied again, you can appeal to the Appeals Council and ultimately to federal court. Most cases never get that far. A well-documented SSA 561 with bank statements, award letters, and a clear explanation of the SSA's error resolves the majority of cases at the reconsideration stage. What to write on Form SSA 561? Be specific. Don't just write, "I disagree." Write, "I disagree with the overpayment determination dated date in the amount of dollar amount. The SSA's calculation is incorrect because specific reason. I am attaching specific documents that demonstrate specific point. I request full reversal of this overpayment determination." Attach your original Social Security award letter, bank statements showing your income for the period in question, any correspondence from the SSA during that period confirming your benefit amount, and a timeline showing you reported all changes as required. Legal tool number 2, waiver of recovery. Form SSA-632-BK. You use this when you agree the overpayment happened, but it wasn't your fault, and paying it back would cause you financial hardship. This is authorized under Section 204B of the Social Security Act. The SSA must grant a waiver if both conditions are met. Condition 1, you were not at fault. This means you didn't knowingly provide incorrect information, you didn't fail to report a required change that you knew about, and you didn't accept payments you knew or should have known were incorrect. Condition 2, recovery would defeat the purpose of the Social Security Act or would be against equity and good conscience. In plain language, taking the money back would deprive you of income needed for basic living expenses. If your monthly Social Security check barely covers rent, food, utilities, and medications, and withholding 50% would put you below the poverty line, that's hardship. What to include with Form SSA-632-BK? A complete monthly budget showing income versus expenses. List every dollar coming in. Social Security, pension, any other income. List every dollar going out. Rent or mortgage, utilities, food, medical costs, insurance, transportation. If expenses equal or exceed income, that's your hardship case. Same 30-day rule applies. File within 30 days of your notice date and all withholding freezes while the SSA reviews the waiver request. If both your appeal and waiver are denied, you still have one more move. Call 1-800-772-1213 or visit your local Social Security office and request a lower withholding rate. Even though the default is 50%, the SSA has discretion to reduce it on a case-by-case basis. Ask for 10%. Explain your financial situation. Many offices will agree to a lower rate when presented with documentation of hardship. Now let me walk you through the exact timeline, because missing these deadlines has real financial consequences. Day 0. The date printed on your overpayment notice. Not the day you received it, the date on the letter. That's your starting point. Days 1 through 30. This is your golden window. File Form SSA-561 or SSA-632-BK during this period, and all withholding is legally frozen. Your full check continues. Days 31 through 90. You can still file either form. The SSA must accept it and process it, but they may begin withholding in the meantime. You may need to request a lower rate while your case is pending. Day 91. If you filed nothing, 50% withholding begins automatically. No additional warning. It just starts with your next payment. After withholding begins, you can still file an appeal or waiver at any time. But money already withheld won't be returned unless your appeal is granted. That's why the 30-day window matters so much. Here are 3 real situations and what to do in each. Situation 1. You reported everything correctly and the SSA made a math error. File Form SSA-561. Attach your documentation. Argue the overpayment determination is incorrect. This is the strongest case. Most are resolved in your favor. Situation 2. Your circumstances changed and you reported late, but you're on a fixed income and can't afford repayment. File Form SSA-632-BK. Attach your monthly budget. Show that recovery would deprive you of necessities. The SSA routinely grants waivers in these cases. Situation 3. You owe the money and can't get a waiver, but 50% withholding would devastate you. Call the SSA and negotiate a lower rate. Ask for 10%. Bring your budget documentation. Most local offices will accommodate reasonable requests. Here's your action checklist. Step 1. Go to ssa.gov/manage-benefits/resolved overpayment right now. Read the SSA's own explanation of your rights. Bookmark that page. Step 2. If you have a current overpayment notice, find the date on it immediately. Write down the 30-day and 90-day deadlines. Put them on your calendar, your refrigerator, and your phone. Step 3. Download Form SSA-561 from ssa.gov/forms/SSA-561 if you want to appeal. Download Form SSA-632-BK from ssa.gov/forms/SSA-632 if you want a waiver. Both are available as PDFs you can fill out on your computer. Step 4. Gather your documentation now. Award letters, bank statements, monthly expense records. Don't wait until day 29. Get the paperwork together this week. Step 5. If you've already had money withheld, file your appeal or waiver anyway. If it's granted, the SSA must refund what was improperly taken. Step 6. Tell everyone you know who receives Social Security about this video. Your neighbor, your church group, your siblings. These letters are going out to millions of people, and most will do nothing because they don't know their rights. This is the first video on USA Senior Laws Guide. Every week I break down a law, rule, or government action that affects seniors, and tell you exactly what to do about it. Next video, a new bill in Pennsylvania could eliminate property taxes for every homeowner over 75. I'll explain the Sam Worley Act, what it means, and which states might follow. Subscribe now, hit the bell, drop a comment. Have you or someone you know received an overpayment letter? What happened? I read every single one. This is USA Senior Laws Guide. Know your rights, protect your money. I'll see you in the next one.